Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Mew2fanNate, and I'm going to be your coach of the New York NOIBATS for this season of the APA. I believe we are currently in our 4th season, and I'm actually really excited because this is going to be a Little Cup draft league with a bunch of people that I'm friends with, and people that I haven't played before, so it's just going to be overall a really cool experience where we get to learn new things about a format that I've never, tested before. Little Cup is brand new to me, and I think that it's going to be really special doing a Little Cup league on the 3DS. It just looks really nice and pleasing aesthetically, in my opinion. Just the baby Pokemon just, at level 5 battling each other is just going to be something really cool to see. Now, like I was saying, I don't really know that much about Little Cup, so this draft analysis might be a little bit shorter because I don't know so much about what these Pokemon do. It's going to be more of a week by week basis, learning a little bit more each week. And I hope that by the time that the season's over that we have somewhat of an understanding of what Little Cup is and like how to play the game and get better at prepping each week, and it'll hopefully make it a little bit easier for us. So I want you guys to go in the comment section down below and let me know what your favorite pick is of the draft, and let me know what you think of the team overall. We're going to be talking about what I think these Pokemon do for my team and whatnot, because I don't really know. I think this is going to be a pretty cool learning experience, and I'm just excited, man. It's going to be fun playing with baby Pokemon. So we're going to just go ahead and jump right into it. My first pick was Munchlax. Now, I don't know too much about Munchlax, but I do know what Snorlax does, and I'm assuming that Munchlax does just pretty much like the same thing. I'm guessing that Munchlax is just going to be one of those Pokemon that people struggle to prep against, meaning like you need to have something with like super hard hitting physical stab moves to bring this thing down. It has a couple good abilities, like I think it's Gluttony and Thick Fat being like the main one. If you couple this thing with an Eviolite, it's going to be super bulky, and it can just do so many different things offensively, whether it's going to be setup sweeping, whether it's going to be just wall breaking with like a choice band or something like that. But I think that this Pokemon should be pretty good. I think it's going to force a lot of prep, which is what I'm hoping, and that's why I picked it first. Now, I did go 2 times in a row. Like, I'm not sure if you guys can see. This is kind of like the draft slides here, and I get to pick 2 times in a row because I was last. So I got the wheel pick, and I wanted to pair my normal type Pokemon, my first round pick, with a ghost type to kind of help it make people like second guess before they click like a fighting type move against me. So I decided I was going to go with the Pumpkaboo, and Pumpkaboo, I don't really know too much about Pumpkaboo, but I've used a Gourgeist before, and I think it's really good as a physically defensive Pokemon. I think Munchlax is a little bit more specially defensive, so I think they pair pretty well together as a defensive core. And it also does pretty well as a Will-O-Wisp user. It gets priority Ghost Stab with Shadow Sneak. I'm not sure if I mentioned Frisk already, but it helps me gain a little bit more intel on what my opponent's Pokemon have as far as their items go, whether they're Eviolite, Choice Scarf, Life Orb, Choice Band, all that kind of things. It definitely would help me with that, like if they're berry juice, all that. So that knowledge could be huge for us. I like that it also has a multi-hitting move with Bullet Seed. So that's like the one thing that I've heard about Little Cup, is that multi-hitting moves are huge because of like sturdy berry juice is pretty common with some Pokemon. So having a multi-hitting move is pretty cool. It's also one of the few grass type Pokemon that have access to like Flamethrower or Fire Blast. And I think even Flame Charge, which is kind of cool because that kind of lets it be a little bit faster and maybe gives us some room for more offensive options. But if something wants to be like a steel type, try to come in on like a grass type move, I could probably hit it with like a fire type move for super effective damage. And the cool thing about Little Cup is that even though like Pumpkaboo has a base attack of 66, if you give it like as much attack investment as it can, it's only going to max out at 16. If you give Pumpkaboo max special attack, it's going to give it 14. So there's not really too much of a difference, so you can run this thing mixed. And there's really not going to be so much of a difference in the power output that this thing has. So I think it's going to be pretty cool to use. I think its shiny form is... it looks very cool aesthetically, so I'm super hyped for that. Now, I don't have any Stealth Rockers at this point, and I was worried that everyone was going to get them, so I wanted to make sure when everyone kind of took all their Pokemon that I was able to get one next. I got sniped with Crustle. Crustle? Is it Crustle? I don't know. It's the little crab Pokemon that has the like sturdy and it gets shell smashed. I'm not sure if you guys know which one I'm talking about. I could be completely wrong, but I wanted that thing and I got sniped on it, and I ended up going with Geodude. Geodude is pretty much gonna be like a really cool Pokemon because it does like the same thing, except it just doesn't shell smash. It doesn't really set up the same way, but it does get up rocks guaranteed because of the sturdy. And with Berry Juice, it pretty much lets me get up rocks for free and then back up to full health because of the sturdy Berry Juice set. I like that this thing also has priority with Sucker Punch. It also gives me another Pokemon with a multi-hitting move because it gets Rock Blast. And then like Stab, Earthquake is always just really good to have. And that's like the only things that I really know about Geodude. So let me know in the comment section down below if I sound like I know what I'm talking about. And how this video is going, because I don't know, man. I'm like very I don't know. I'm not very confident in what I'm doing. So we're gonna move on to the next Pokemon which I drafted, which was Skrelp. And Skrelp is pretty cool because it gives me a Toxic Spike user, so I can kind of do a little bit of hazard stacking between Stealth Rocks and Toxic Spikes. This thing has adaptability, so it's going to be hitting pretty hard with like Hydro Pumps and Sludge Waves, and then it gets like other coverage moves like Shadow Ball and Thunderbolt, which I guess help it out for other water types that might want to switch in on it, like if someone has like a Mareep or something, whereas my stabs don't do that much to it. Thunderbolt can probably hit it pretty hard. So I think overall this is like a pretty decent pick. This is a free pick because I think this was actually no, this was my C tier pick. I could see it right on the screen, and I think this is gonna be pretty good for us. It's gonna be pretty decently bulky with like Eviolite, or I can just make this thing Choice Specs and be a wall breaker. It has both the same physical attack stat and special attack stat, so if I want to run like Banded Aqua Tail 1 week over Hydro Pump, I might do it. You don't know. I don't think this thing gets... Does this thing get any, like... it gets Gunk Shot. So, yeah. I can run Adaptability, Gunk Shot, and, like, in Aqua Tail. So, you guys, you know, if you switch in your Special Wall thinking you're gonna eat up a hit from me, and then you end up taking a Banded Gunk Shot that's Adaptability boosted, I'm just saying, you know, like... We got variety. We got variety on this team. The next Pokemon that I picked up was the Bagon, and I think Bagon is probably going to be one of the most clutch Pokemon on my draft. This thing is super scary. This thing hits so hard with Sheer Force, and Bagon, while it doesn't have a very accurate stab move that's boosted by Sheer Force, it still hurts. It hurts when it hits. Dragon Rush, it's a base 100 Sheer Force boosted move that just hits so incredibly hard. I can't remember. All right, hold on. So we get, it's Rock Edge, so Sheer Force, and then it's Dragon Rush. So Dragon Rush has a 20% chance to flinch normally. It's 75% accurate. I'm pretty sure that's better than Hurricanes. I could be wrong. I think Hurricane's like 70%, so I think it's better than Hurricane. So it can be pretty reliable, in my opinion. If people rely on hitting Hurricanes, then I can rely on hitting Dragon Rushes, because if this thing wants to go for like Dragon Dances 1 week, then I think that this thing could just sweep every week. Honestly, like just its speed, like a speed tier is like not bad, and after a Dragon Dance, I think that with Sheer Force boosted crunches, Fire Fangs, Fire Blast, whatever, I think it has the potential to do a lot of work. And this thing also gets Hone's Claws, so if we were any bit worried about accuracy any week, then we can patch that up with the Hone's Claws and guarantee just hitting and just doing massive damage at +1. I don't even think this thing needs to run Dragon Dance every week. I think this thing could just be Life Orb 4 attacks and just put in some major work. I'm excited to see what this thing does for our team. I think this Pokemon is just going to want to come every week and has the potential to sweep every single week. There's not much that can take Dragon Rushes at like +1, and if I outspeed you, there's a good chance that I can knock you out. So I guess we're just going to stop talking about Bagon, and we're going to move on to the next Pokemon, which is Salandit. And Salandit's pretty cool because it does give me some utility with like Fake Out and like Taunt and things like that, Knockoff. It doesn't really do like so much for me, but as far as like, I don't know, like utility goes, I think. But I don't know, I think it can hit pretty hard with like Sludge Waves and Fire Blast. I think its stab options are really nice. Like the ability to like Toxic anything as it comes in is cool. I don't know how useful that is in Little Cup, but we are using pretty much like not Omni boosting Z moves, but like unlimited Z moves, so I can run like Z Sludge Wave, Z Fire Blast, or whatever, and like I can just totally nuke something. And its dual stabs are pretty hard to switch into, because obviously Steel is one of those things where it's immune to poison type moves, and then Salandit can kind of just punish it with like a Fire Blast. So I think this is going to be overall like a really good Pokemon to have on the team. The fact that this thing gets knockoff is huge, because I can knock off things like Choice Scarfs, Eviolites, stuff like that. Again, I don't really know too much of what this thing does. This thing can be a setup sweeper with like Nasty Plot, so I guess that's cool. But yeah, that's gonna be it for Salandit. We're gonna just mention real quick that I had to get Tickles Jr., because I saw that was like the D tier and we needed one of those for our drafts, and I know that there wasn't that many fairy types to go around. There's not that many good ones, and I wanted to make sure that I put Tickles on the squad. Tickles Jr. Gives us another Stealth Rock user, just a bunch of coverage moves, just like Wigglytuff does. And whether it was good or not, it was going on the team, because it's not a New York NOIBATS team without Tickles or Tickles Jr., and it just had to be done. So we're gonna just move on from that, and we're gonna talk about Woobat real quick. And Woobat gives me a defog user, which I didn't have before. It gives me a super scary setup sweeper with like the simple ability, so Calm Minds get boosted by 2 each stage, so I'll get a +2 in special attack, +2 in special defense. Makes it super scary. I think this thing also gets things like Amnesia and stuff. I don't think this thing gets anything to boost its physical defense. I don't think so. It doesn't look like it does, but it does get like U-turn for initiative, and gives me another knockoff user. I think that this thing has pretty good like coverage for things, and it also gives me a Thunder Wave user. I think this thing is going to be good. I like that what this thing can do. Giga Drain, Energy Ball for coverage is huge for rock types. I don't think this, and it gets Heat Wave for steel types. So I mean, overall, this is a really good Pokemon to have. I think its speed tier sits pretty well, letting me outspeed a lot of the things on pretty much all my opponent's teams. I don't know if there's anything else that I can really say. It gets reliable recovery with Roost, Shadow Ball for coverage, Taunt user, gives me a Tailwind user. I think this is going to be a really, really good Pokemon that will have a lot of utility for my team. I think it's going to be able to do a lot. Okay, and I guess with that being said, we're going to just move on from the Woobat, and we're going to talk about Mareep. And Mareep obviously is a electric type Pokemon. Has the ability Static. I don't really know what this thing wants to do. Mostly, I feel like if I ever bring this, it's going to be like a discharge set, trying to just slow things down on my opponent's side of the field. I know that it gets like Thunderbolt, it gets Agility, Cotton Guard. So I mean, it gets Heal Bell, so it could be like a Cleric. I think that's pretty much like what I would use it for. If I had to make a set for it, I would probably make it like a Cleric with like Cotton Guard, and just maybe with Rest and like Discharge. Because other than that, I don't really see too much of what this thing can get. It looks like that it gets Electric Terrain, which is cool. So if I want to run a Z Electric Terrain Mareep, I might do it. Let me know in the comment section down below if you want me to, if you want to see me try to pull off a sweep with Z Electric Terrain Mareep. I think it's got a respectable special attack. I think it could be cool. And I don't really know too much about Mareep, man. So we're gonna move on to our last pick of the draft, and we got Purrloin. And I like Purrloin because I didn't have a Dark type on the team yet, and Psychic Spam is not something that I wanted. And this gives me a really huge priority user with Prankster, meaning that I can go for Prankster Encores, Prankster Nasty Plots. I think this thing does this thing get Thunder Wave yet? It gets Prankster Thunder Wave, which is huge. It gives me a knockoff user as well. And I think that this thing has really good offensive capabilities with just being able to go for, like, I think it gets Hone's Claws. Does it get Hone's Claws? Because I don't think it gets Sword of Stance, but yeah, it gets Hone's Claws. And it gets Nasty Plot. And it has decent coverage too. And I think that having him on that can kind of help me shut down Psychic type Pokemon is going to be pretty helpful. Because offensively, I don't have many switch-ins to it. And things like Skrelp don't appreciate switching into Psychics. I don't have any really other resistances on the team other than Woobat itself, but Woobat is kind of frail and it doesn't really appreciate those hits. So yeah, having a Dark type on the team definitely helps. Something with Prankster to help slow things down, to make Pokemon like Bagon a little bit easier to set up. With Prankster Toxics to put things on a timer makes it easier for Munchlax. I think this ties a lot of the team together. I believe it also has a decent speed tier as well. So yeah, and especially after, so like with a pretty much max speed and a Jolly nature or timid nature, we can hit 17 as like a total, and I think that's going to be huge. It also has some burden, so I guess that's cool. Maybe I can run. Does this thing get Endure? Can I run an Endure weakness policy? It doesn't. Oh well. But Focus Sash, Nasty Plot, could be cool with Unburden. So I think we're gonna end the video here. Let me know in the comments section down below what you think of the draft. If you see anything that I missed, because obviously I don't know too much about Little Cup. Let me know. Let me know in the comments section down below if you think my team lacks synergy, if you think it's good, if you think it's bad. Love to hear your thoughts. I'm gonna get going, and I will see you guys later. Bye.